Hi there, Lisa from Business and Heels again with Kris Greenwood. We got caught with some technical difficulties. Don't you love the internet? We love it, and then we hate it. Yeah, exactly. So Kris was just going to tell us a little bit about the cause of the CEO St Vincent's Sleepout. So over to you.
So every year that St Vinny's puts together a sleepout for CEOs to raise money for the homeless. And last year we were raising money specifically for the hidden homeless. And the hidden homeless are all the women and children that are usually escaping domestic violence and surfing from people's sofas and just trying to get back on their feet. So we were raising money to build housing to help them. This year, we're looking to raise $700,000, this is in Victoria, to put towards the soup vans. Now, the soup vans are amazing. They're incredible volunteers. I had the very good fortune of going out with my daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, 2 weeks ago to work on the soup vans in Melbourne. Amazing bunch of volunteers. We took out not just soup, but food to 6 different metropolitan stops around the city. And we also had toiletries and blankets that we were offering to them. We were quite blown away by the homeless people. These are more street people. Also people maybe living in boarding houses that can't afford to give to feed their kids one night a week or two nights a week or something. So they come along and they're welcome as well. But some of the people that we were offering blankets to were saying things like, that would be great. There may be somebody more in need than me, so please give it to somebody else.
Wow.
So they were pretty incredible. So we were quite blown away. So $700,000 we need to raise this year to put towards those soup vans to help those homeless people. They go out every single night for 5 hours.
And so the St Vincent's Sleepout happens in June, so the absolute coldest time in the middle of Victoria.
On the longest night of the year, 22nd of June.
On the longest night of the year. And so it gives everyone the opportunity to really experience what it's like. And I think for most Australians, they don't appreciate that this is a problem.
No,
you know,
until you walk past them in the street. But there are over 105,000 homeless people in Australia.
Wow.
60% of them are under the age of 35, 44% of them are actually women, and 13% are children under the age of 12.
Yeah,
so it's a big problem.
And so, my understanding is the number of women and children are actually increasing rather than decreasing.
Yes.
So,
and that's a domestic violence issue mainly.
Yeah, but it does make a real difference. And I think, Kris, you as a woman in business, tell us a little bit about why you were so passionate to get involved.
Well, it's interesting. I grew up, I spent my school years in Zimbabwe, and there's a lot of things I'm involved with when it comes to poverty and just young women growing up in third world countries. But where I went to school was on the border of Mozambique, and we used to get mortared almost every night.
I can't even imagine.
So it was quite war torn. It was quite a difficult time to be there, but we saw a lot of poverty and a lot of people that were a lot less fortunate than us. I mean, at least we were in school and we had a shelter, but people were being left with no houses. It was really quite drastic. So I suppose from a young age, I've always had a lot of empathy and a lot of compassion to try and help those less fortunate. And I live in a very comfortable home. I have 4 healthy children. And when I see that a lot of the homeless people are actually just normal people, like you and I, and something's gone wrong, they may have lost a job or lost their family for some reason, made a mistake on gambling, whatever, and they land up on the streets. And when you talk to them, and I actually stop and I talk to them, and you hear their stories, you think, how can I not help? How can I not be involved? And this is actually a very good forum to do it because you know where the money's going.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're meeting a whole lot of other like-minded, compassionate people when you do that sleepout. So, I mean, I couldn't not do it. You're doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I felt really passionate about it because I just think, as you say, we are so lucky, and yet you often don't notice this, unless you actually trip over it. How many of us are walking around the streets of the city at night or even the parks and are totally unaware that this problem exists, and yet we would say Australia's so lucky I can afford to donate money overseas, and that's true, but you kind of think, wow, I should be doing something at home first.
Yes, sometimes you don't see what's right in front of you, and that is true. Yeah.
Yes. So I believe we get a little piece of cardboard to sleep on and another one to put over the top of us.
We do. It's lovely.
So it's going to be a really comfortable night. And for all of those of you with empathy for us,
Yes.
please donate some money as we go along the way. But the other thing, look, Kris, you've led a really interesting life and you're really breaking a whole lot of ground for women in a lot of different capacities. So tell us a little bit about your role as chair. Yep.
So my company aside, which is an IT company, I'm also the chairman of the Facilities Management Association. When I got involved in facilities management 20 years ago now, it was all men. And I fell into it by mistake, which is a lot of people that go into facilities management do fall into it by mistake. And I went along to my first function and saw a room full of men. And I was just about to turn round and hightail it out of there when somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Oh, hello, love. Could you get me a beer?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. I'm sure you can get one. And while you're there, do get me a wine." And then I thought from that moment on, I was going to change the paradigm and get more women involved in the industry, because a facilities manager is somebody who manages. They don't physically manage the building; they manage the building. So they have to be organised. They have to have negotiation skills. They have to have empathy. They have to be able to talk to contractors. And women do that role so very, very well. It's natural to us as multitasking parents. That's what we do.
Yep.
And so I went through the ranks, joined the local committee, became chairman of the Victorian committee, got onto the board somehow, and eventually became the first female chairman. And now the new statistic, we did a new industry census, and we just came back, and we're almost 30% women now from literally 2. And our average age of 47 of facilities managers has dropped to under 40. So it's certainly been wonderful to be a part of that change. And we've set up diversity committees to encourage younger women to come up through the career path and mentoring roles and things like that. So it's been an interesting journey, but I've been very supported by men all through it, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that's really true. You know, there's a great role for women to play supporting women, but we also have to recognise that a lot of men have given us a lot of goes along the way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be where we are today. So there's a piece to play in that.
There is. I think you also really need to make sure that you upskill yourself as well as you go along. If you are looking to go further up in your career, and like I was very keen to get onto boards. That's something that I would like to do eventually, is just work on boards, because it's very diverse and very interesting. But you need to take courses so that you understand your fiduciary responsibilities, because you can be personally liable if something goes wrong in a company if you're actually a director of it. So taking courses like the Australian Institute of Company Directors board course and other courses along the way is really, really important.
So if you had to give some advice to some up-and-coming women, what would it be? It
would be, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Take risks. If the risks fail, take that as a learning. I've taken risks that have failed, and I've thought, what a disaster, but actually it's taught me a lot. Don't ever let anyone feel that you are not as good as you are, because there's a lot of people out there that feel threatened, especially if you're quite outspoken. And that's the other thing. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions, but and educate yourself, and find role models within the industry that you feel that you can talk to, because most women that have made it through are keen to hand down that information and keen to help people nurture them up through the system.
Absolutely. And I think one of my favourite quotes is there's a special place in hell for women that don't support other women.
Exactly.
So, I think, if you get the opportunity to be, senior, and you can do all these amazing things and make a difference, then it's a bit of a legacy to be able to pass it on to other women. So.
And the other thing I would say is get involved in other things outside the business, because that's how you build your networks. I'm involved in different foundations as well, and on different committees and things like the Property Council and mentoring groups and things. And my network is massive because of that, and so that having that support is fantastic.
Yeah, and you know, as you all know, we bang on about networking giving you opportunities, and that's exactly what happens, doesn't it? So people, the CEO Sleepout is on the 22nd of June, and we're trying to raise $700,000 for these homeless people, of which 44% are women. And